What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're going to be taking a look at Red-Haired Shanks, the 10th anniversary legend, and we just made a video yesterday discussing the 10th anniversary Gear 5 Luffy, showcasing him, giving my thoughts and opinions on him after using him for a little bit. If you guys have not seen that video, I definitely recommend to go ahead and check it out. So let's go ahead and discuss Shanks. We're going to go through all of his abilities and give my thoughts and opinions on it as I have used him a little bit in the content so far. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first of which, let's start with the fact that he's a Sai Cerebral Slasher with a Captain ability that has a very unique effect at the start, which sets the ship's special gauge to max at the start of the quest. That particular ability is unique. This is the only character that has the ability to do it. However, this does require you to abuse this effect. You need to have ship's specials to actually use. And unless if you're investing Super Cola to upgrade a lot of ships to actually abuse that kind of mechanic, I just don't think this effect is as useful as a lot of people think. You know, just because it is unique, yeah, obviously it brings your attention to it, but there's just not going to be a lot of situations where that particular effect is going to be very useful, especially when you continue on with his Captain effect, and then it starts with boosting his own attack by 6.25, Sai Cerebral Slasher get a 6 times boost, 1.35 health, everyone else gets a 4.5 times boost. So you do see that after it talks about the special max for the ship, it goes into attack boost and HP boost. There's no cooldown reduction for your specials with this guy as your captain. So even if your ship special is maxed, that's not going to help you that much if you still have to stall for normal specials, you know what I mean? Of course, you know, you can have ship specials that give you cooldown, like the Mihawk ship, and there's the new anniversary ship, of course. But it's just a little bit weird. You have to synergize him with cooldown reduction as a captain to actually use him in content to kind of like speed through it, you know what I mean? So there's that, you know, the attack boost and HP boost, no issues at all, it's really good. He does make int and dex slots into Sai slots. I like that part of it as a captain, just generating these matching slots for your crew, as he makes Sai and Tenon slots beneficial, as well as removing 10 turns of bind as a captain. So good utility, matching slots, a lot of matching slots actually, and then good attack boost and HP boost and stuff. He does have another effect where if you use a special to boost color affinity, he extends the duration of it by 1 turn, which synergizes with his special ability. And then if he is your captain, your main captain, then when you use his special and you hit excellent with your action special, you get a 6.5 times attack boost to Sai Cerebral Slasher instead of the 6 times boost and 6.25 to himself. So yeah, the captain is very similar to Luffy in a lot of ways, but also a little bit different. I just don't think it's going to see as much play as a captain because of some finicky things that you have to worry about. And then of course, if you use him as a captain, you'll get access to the EX Super, which only requires 2 of the listed units, which is a little bit better than Luffy. But the listed characters are Luffy Roger, you've got Teach, Buggy, Kaido, Lin, Mihawk, and then any one of his crew members, ranging from Ben Beckman all the way to Rockstar, and Uta is one of the characters that can be used. Now his EX Super is actually very, very good, so this may be one of the reasons why you use him as a captain, because it does reduce 2 turns of Intimidation, which is the first character to remove that, and then if a character's first class on them is a shooter or a fighter, then for 1 turn they get transformed into Cerebral instead, obviously getting all the buffs from the specials and EX Supers and stuff. And then he also, for 2 turns, gives your Sai Cerebral and Slashers a 2.5 orb boost. So that's also really, really good to have in an EX Super, uninterruptible effect, and then also Super Sai and Super Cerebral. So I think the EX Super is fantastic. You've got a unique ability in removing Intimidation. You got some class change, potentially, not really that important. I wish the class change was just for all characters, not specifically if they have Fighter or Cerebral in one of their class spots, in their first class spot. That's a little bit of a weird choice. And then the Orb Boost, of course, is fantastic, especially because as a captain, you're just generating so many matching slots. So let's get to talking about the special, because the special has a lot to break down. So first of which, it does do 300 times his attack and typeless damage to all enemies, which is the same amount of damage as Luffy. It then says it removes 10 turns of enemies' damage reduction, which is the Rainbow Shield buff on the enemy. That effect is fantastic. That's always going to be useful. No issues with that at all. It then says removes 3 turns of enemy barriers. That is also a very, very good effect. There are only a very small amount of characters in the game that actually remove 3 turns of barriers. I know off the top of my head, the new Doflamingo and Sugar that came out recently is one of them, and then there's like the Strength Sakazuki Rumble Legend, he also does that. There's not a lot of characters that can do it, but this is another character that you can add to that list. He then will also change all of your slots, including block, into size slots, and then he then gives you different buffs depending on what you have. So when you use the special with no other buffs active, he gives you a up to 4 times color affinity, right? And this is crazy because color affinity was one of those buffs that never really got a massive power jump. Like, I think before this character's release, like the best color affinity you could get was around like a 2.75, 3 times color affinity, and with some other buffs you could actually buff it even further. So around a 3 times color affinity was about the maximum that you could get. And then they released this Shanks, which can get up to a 4 times color affinity. That's a huge power spike with this character. So being able to get that is phenomenal. The amount of damage that you can abuse with this is really, really good. But then you also have the other effect where if you already have a color affinity boost activated, then the special will give you a 3.0 chain boundary for 2 turns that can max out to 35. That's a great chain boundary. It does only last for 2 turns, but it's still pretty good either way. And of course, I forgot to mention with that color affinity special that if this character is your captain, he extends the duration of color affinity specials by 1. So the 2 turn up to 4 times color affinity boost can be extended for 3 turns, which is exceptional. And then he does have one additional effect at the bottom of his special, which says that when you launch the special, if you have an attack boost and you launch his special, it's going to go ahead and buff the attack boost by a multiplier of 1.5 times. This is fantastic. Being able to abuse this is really, really good. So making sure that you launch Shanks' special when you already have an attack boost activated is going to be the best way to abuse that. So if you have another character to provide you with an attack boost, you have Shanks, which can give you fantastic color affinity and a very respectable orb boost as well with his EX Super. So you can already see how this character is coming together. He's got a full board of slots with his special. You've got the utility for removing barriers and Rainbow Shield. And if for whatever reason you're running double Shanks, you can also get a chain boundary out of it as well. So there's a lot of positives to take out of Shanks using him as a captain, but also he's going to be an interesting character in a lot of content moving forward, even as a crewmate. And to finish the video, I want to go ahead and discuss his Rush Sugo special. So it is very, very similar to the Monkey D. Luffy Rush Sugo special that we talked about in yesterday's video. But the Rush Sugo special is fascinating in that you can activate it in the first tap or the 6th tap of your attack chain. So this means that you can abuse it in a lot of different ways, where if you have potentially like a really good final tap character on your crew, you can still abuse the Shanks Rush Sugo special as the first tap of your chain. And then of course if you don't have a final tap, then yeah, you can just let Shanks go crazy. Or alternatively, you know, if you want to finish your chain with a character that actually has super effective damage, you can start with Shanks. He'll give your Rush attack boost for Psy, Cerebral, and Slasher characters. He increases your chain by a very significant margin, especially if you're abusing the chain boundary from his special, and then you can go ahead and finish off with other characters that may potentially have the type advantage. So that's really, really cool that you can do it in a lot of different ways. In order to activate it though, it has to be on the final battle, and you need to have 2 of the listed characters on the crew, which is the same listed characters that are required for his EX Super. So if you fulfill the condition for the EX Super, you can perform the Rush Sugo special on the final stage of the content. So I like that they're able to do that at least. The effect is really good though, like it just provides just more damage, but the thing is that I don't know like which characters for Super Tandem are going to synergize well with this character. I believe the Psy Super Tandem Uta, I think she was a Super Tandem character that came out a little bit late last year during the Film Red celebration for the 9.5 anniversary. That character, being a Psy unit, can actually synergize pretty well with this Shanks, and also that Uta has really good utility in removing Special Bind, and I believe that Uta also removes Despair as a captain. Yeah, it actually does, so that's really cool that this character can be synergized with that. And yeah, as I mentioned, that character, that Uta, does have a Super Tandem boosting Psy, Free Spirit, and Shooter characters, so that may be a route that you could go down to abuse Super Tandem with Uta. You have Shanks, and yeah, that's going to be a really good, like, potentially mono Psy team to beat int characters. But at the same time, when we already have access to a character such as Rush Gear 5 Psy Luffy. Is that really going to replace, you know, that character when you have, you know, this Shanks coming out? It's going to be hard to determine if that's going to be the case, but in terms of utility with like Shanks, Uta potentially that being a really cool core for a squad, yeah, that might be something that could be explored. But overall, I found Shanks to be pretty good actually. I think he's a good unit for sure, but I will say that in the small amount of content that I have used, I have definitely found Luffy to be a little bit easier to use. I have preferred the abilities of Luffy, but that's just my thoughts and opinions. Like, they each have unique abilities that are, you know, obviously unique to them being Super Sugo Fest exclusives, but I have found that the effects of Luffy have been a little bit better compared to Shanks, in my opinion thus far. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about him down below in the comment section. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
そんなに怖いか新時代が